Hello students, today we will discuss about political formations in the 18th century. Introduction. The great Mughal Empire, it rapidly declined after the death of Aurangzeb. The Indian subcontinent, it witnessed major political changes in the 18th century. The period between Aurangzeb's death and the establishment of the British Empire in India was a time when many independent states rose to power. The subcontinent was fragmented and ruled by different rulers. In this chapter, we shall study about these rulers and the political scenario of the subcontinent just before the British came to power. The 18th century also marked the end of the medieval period in India. Crisis in Mughal Empire and the later Mughals. Aurangzeb died in 1707, and soon after his death the disintegration of the great Mughal Empire it began. There were a series of inconsequential kings known as the later Mughals. After the death of Aurangzeb, a war of succession broke out, and finally Bahadur Shah first ascended the throne. It was difficult for him to hold the large empire together, which was already in a state of collapse. Also, the Sikh rose up in revolts during his reign and he tried to implement peace. His reign was short and lasted till 1712. The later Mughals. Bahadur Shah first ruled from 1707 to 1712 and he tried to win over the Rajputs, the Marathas, and the Sikh. He was succeeded by Jahandar Shah, who ruled for a few months only, and he was a puppet in the hands of Zulfikar Khan, a powerful noble. So Bahadur Shah's sons fought for the throne, and the survivor Jahandar Shah ascended the throne in 1712. He was lazy and neglected his duty, and the power was in the hands of his prime minister Zulfikar Khan. Jahandar Shah was defeated and killed by Farooq Shiar, who ascended the throne with the help of the Sayyid brothers, who were very powerful nobles, and however, he was merely a puppet in their hands and was later killed by them. Then Muhammad Shah, he came to the throne in 1719 and he got rid of the Sayyid brothers. But it was during his reign that many provinces like Deccan, Bengal, and Awadh became independent. Bahadur Shah Zafar was an emperor in the name only. His empire was limited to the Red Fort. After the revolt of 1857, the British exiled him to Burma, where he died in 1862. His sons were executed, and with that, the glorious Mughal Empire it came to an end. So Bahadur Shah first, then his son Jahandar Shah, uh, then Farooq Shiar, then Muhammad Shah, and then Bahadur Shah Zafar. Invasions. The two important invasions which gave a severe blow to Mughal Empire. Invasion of Nadir Shah in 1739. Nadir Shah, the ruler of Persia, marched towards Delhi. Delhi at the time was under the control of the later Mughal rulers, Muhammad Shah, who was leading a luxurious life. But Nadir Shah, he invaded Delhi in 1739 and plundered Delhi and took away the large amount of wealth from India. He also took away the famous Peacock throne and Kohinoor diamond. This invasion gave a severe blow to the power of the Mughals in India. At the same time, Marathas also became powerful. Then second invasion by Ahmad Shah Abdali. He was an Afghan ruler who invaded India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. The Marathas had become powerful due to the declining power of the Mughals, and in 1761 they tried to check the power of Ahmad Shah Abdali, and the third battle of Panipat took place. The Marathas were defeated and they had to withdraw from North India. So Ahmad Shah invasion gave a serious blow to the Mughal Empire. The empire was further weakened by the rivalries among the nobles. The coming of the European powers gave a serious blow to the Mughal administration. So these two invasions gave severe blow to the Mughal Empire. In 1739, Nadir Shah invaded, and 1761, Ahmad Shah Abdali. Emergence of new powers and kingdom. With the decline of the powers of Mughals, several independent states came into power. These can be divided into three categories: old Mughal provinces like Hyderabad, Awadh, and Bengal. uh, Then the Rajputs, who had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals, and stayed under the control of Sikh, Marathas, and Jats, who acquired independence from the Mughals consequent to long drawn battles. So the post-Mughal era saw the rise of small regional succession states. This was because of the later Mughals were weak, the empire was very huge, and the distant area were difficult to manage. So the governors were appointed to look after those areas and which were distant from the Mughal capital. However, they declared themselves as independent from the Mughals and established their own states. So the old Mughal provinces that became independent state. Three of the largest provinces to become independent were Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. Uh, Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. Awadh, modern day Uttar Pradesh. In 1722, Muhammad Shah he appointed Shadat Khan as the governor of Awadh. The Jamindars of Awadh often refused to pay taxes on time, so Sadat Khan he suppressed the rebellious Zamindars and reformed the revenue system. He held the combined office of the Subadars, political head, Fauzdar, military head, and Diwan, head of the revenue. He was succeeded in 1739 by Safdarjung. Sadat Khan and his successors virtually ruled Awadh as independent rulers. They provided good administration to the people. Lucknow, their capital, was a major center of art and architecture. Awadh roughly occupied the area of modern day Uttar Pradesh, and he also agriculture flourished there because of fertile soil. In 1722, Sadat Khan was appointed the governor of Awadh by the Mughal emperor, and as the power of the emperor declined, he established his own dynasty. So he was succeeded by Safdarjung, his son-in-law, and he faced many problems: the corrupt policy of Delhi court, lawlessness, and the army. He dealt with all the problems and established peace in province. Then the next we have Bengal. Bengal, it was rich and diverse cultural. It has rich and diverse cultural history. It was ruled by numerous dynasty. Murshid Quli Khan was the governor of Bengal. Bengal has a rich and diverse cultural history. The state was ruled by numerous dynasties during under the Mughals. Rule, Bengal became a recognized commercial center in the country. They were patrons of art and culture, and Bengal's already rich culture blossomed even more. So the Bengals Mughals appointed governors to rule Bengal. Murshid Ali Khan became the governor of Bengal in 1770 CE. Um, he shifted the capital of Bengal from Dhaka to Murshidabad and declared himself the Nawab. He paid a nominal allegiance to the Mughal emperor. He built the beautiful Katra Masjid. So, taking advantage of the weak center, he seized power and began to rule independently. He made Murshidabad his capital. In 1727, he was succeeded by Sujauddin, who ruled till 1739, and after him Aliwardi Khan and then Sirajuddaulah became rulers of Bengal. The rulers of Bengal improved the administration and encouraged agriculture, industry and trade. Loans were given to poor peasants. A strict control was maintained over the collection of custom duties. So, in the 18th century, Bengal became one of the most prosperous region of India. So, it was this prosperity that attracted the English to it, and the historic Battle of Plassey and the Battle of Buxar in 1764 firmly established the English power in this region. Now, finally, Hyderabad. It became part of the Mughal Empire, the rule of Aurangzeb. Chilgij Khan was a powerful noble in the court of Farrukhsiyar and Muhammad Shah. He was awarded the title of Nizamul Mulk Asaf and given the responsibility of governing the Deccan provinces. He carved out the state of Hyderabad, which he ruled as an independent ruler. He appointed Mansabdars and granted them Jagirs without the permission of Mughal king. Muhammad Shah was powerless to stop him and had to agree to all his decisions. So the successors of Nizamul Mulk were known as Nizams of Hyderabad. Hyderabad, it became a part of Mughal Empire in the Deccan during the rule of Aurangzeb, and after the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor appointed Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah as the governor of Deccan in 1713, and later it was made the Wazir of the Mughal Empire. He was made the Wazir of the Mughal Empire, but later he moved back to the Deccan. In 1724, he declared himself the governor of the six Deccan provinces, Hyderabad being one of them. So he started the Asaf Zahi dynasty. During this period, Persian, Urdu, Telugu, and Marathi developed, and the highest official position were given to the deserving person irrespective of their religion. Nizamul Mulk's successor ruled as Nizams of Hyderabad. Nizam Ali Khan Asaf Zahi to move the capital back to Hyderabad from Aurangabad. Hyderabad became the largest Indian state in India, British India, and the Nizams. The rulers of the state were the richest in the world till 1940s. So we have seen three important provisions which came as an independent ruler, as an independent kingdom during 18th century: Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. Thank you, students.